Hey guys, welcome back to Paradise. Today I just wanted to talk to you about truck camping, and if you're just getting into it, what is the best truck that you should look for if you're thinking about truck camping, overlanding, anything like that. Even if you're thinking about going light, like just it's kind of the smaller truck campers. Um, the biggest thing that you have to think about when getting into truck camping is payload, is how much the truck can handle, how much weight the truck can haul in the bed, not towing. Payload is hauling. So you want to find the truck with the best payload. And what we have found in the last at least 8-10 years since we've been on the road is we randomly look, and Ford is usually top of the line in payload. So if you want to go, if you're going with a smaller truck camper, if you're going with a bigger truck camper, you pretty much have to go with a 250, 350. So if you want to go with like a small pop-up camper, something kind of lighter, the big thing, you have to pay attention to is payload. So on the camper, it's going to say how much the camper weighs. It'll give you a dry weight and a wet weight. And to tell you the truth, most campers that we look at, we see some on the road and stuff, and we'll look them up. They're still around at least 1,000 pounds. And even like the four-wheel camper, I believe, those ones you have to like specially order. And we've actually seen a couple people with them out and about, and we looked inside of them, and there's like nothing in it. You don't get anything. You literally just get the shell, and you get whatever. Some of them are I think most of them are pop-ups. So you get that. But even those, I think, are still around like 800, 1,000 pounds for just the shell. And when you're thinking about this, it's not just that. Like, payload is everything. So you have to add yourself, your dogs, your food, your water, your gear. Anything else that you bring and put in your truck has to be under that payload number. So in order for it to be safe, you can obviously go over it if you want to, but so once you look at that number and you realize that there's not a lot of campers that are really light, unless you just want to get like the tent thing that goes on the top, those are probably only a couple 100 pounds. You could probably get a smaller truck. Where if you want to go with like an actual, like one you're going to be able to stand up in, have a pop-up, everything like that, you're going to have to get a beefier truck. So what we've seen is Toyotas, they're really good at marketing. So we all know, and we all did our research and know that Toyotas are good quality trucks, or at least they used to be. Don't know anymore, but they used to be high quality trucks. That's for more city stuff. They're not made to be work trucks. Like Ford and Chevy and Dodge, they all actually make work trucks that go on to like sites and things like that. So they're just basic plain trucks. Toyota right now is really good at marketing outdoors, overlanding, living, and all these things, because they even sell packages that you can buy the whole setup, and they'll put the camper on for you and all this stuff. But the Toyota Tacoma is, first off, a very expensive truck. So if you're just going to use it for like weekends and things like that, then it might work for you, because if it's going to last you whatever 10 or how many years, it might be worth it to get a Toyota. But just so you know, the marketing is superb on Toyota, and they're marketing it very well for off-road. And the off-road edition of the Toyota is even more expensive, so it'll get up to about 50-some thousand just base, just for the truck itself. And then the payload on both of the Toyotas are very bad. The max I think you could get on a Toyota, I just saw some on a paperwork that said it could get up to 1,700, so that must be some specific things. Because before we looked, and you could barely even get 1,000-pound payload on a Tacoma. And a Tundra is even, I think that's about the same. That truck is not made to haul stuff. And it gets like 12 miles per gallon to begin with. So again, if you're going to be driving it in the city, and if you're going to be like weekending in it with a small, just like a tent camper, it might be fine. But if you plan on going on the road full time and you want a decent sized camper, you're going to have to upgrade to something bigger, because the amount of people that we've seen now with the Toyota setup and this camper that's built into the camper, and then I talked to them and they're like, oh yeah, we had to beef up the suspension and all this stuff. Well, first off, you can't increase your payload on the truck. It's impossible. The payload is based off the frame of the truck. You can't beef up the frame. So what you can do is help support it better. So you can add leaf springs and timber ends and all these other things. So people are spending thousands of dollars more on top of the $50,000 on the Tacoma to make it be able to even hold the weight. So in the long run, when you look at it, you're spending 50, 60, 70,000 on Tacoma when you can get like a used F-150, which is a half ton now, that has a payload of over 2,000 pounds. You can get some that even go up to 3,000 pounds if you just want a single cab, that will hold the weight a lot better, actually get about the same gas mileage. They both get about 20 miles per gallon, have a bigger engine, and it'll actually be probably cheaper, because our truck we bought used and it was cheaper than the Toyota Tacomas that we were looking at. So just wanted to let you know out there, if you're looking at getting a truck camper of any specific size, especially the smaller ones, pay attention to the payload. Ford is by far the best in payload in its class for an F-150. Chevy has some decent ones. I haven't looked at them lately, but they were up there. They were about 1,700 pounds as well, just on a basic truck, and you can get better ones. And Dodge, I'm not sure. I think they're usually more in the towing class, but they probably have some decent ones too. But the big thing with Ford is they sell a trailer package and a heavy-duty payload package. So that already has beefed up springs and all this stuff, and it's built into the vehicle. So again, the payload is actually higher on those vehicles. So that raises it a lot more than just your basic truck. And again, you can look at the gear, the axle ratio too, to make sure that you're getting the right axle ratio to be towing and hauling. So again, if you're out there and you're looking at living in your truck camper full time and looking at getting anything of a decent size that's bigger than at least 1,000 pounds or even 800, because like I said, the Tacoma's probably around 1,000 pounds payload. So just your camper alone, you're already going to be over the payload. So, and if you're getting 20 miles per gallon, that's going to drop you way down if you add more on top of that, because you're going to bring water and food. So if you're living in it full time, it might be okay for weekends, like I said. But so in the long run, if you're looking at getting a truck camper of literally any size, you're going to have to probably go with a F-150. That's probably the only half-ton truck that will actually be able to hold the weight safely. You can get a Chevy and a Dodge that would hold the weight, but I don't know if it would be safely. Like I said, it would probably be way over the payload, where you got to get the Ford F-150 with the payload package and the towing package, and then that will get you up to that 2,000, 3,000 pound payload, where you're probably going to have to up to probably a 250 or a 350 depending on what truck you have, because most 250s probably go up to like 4,000 pounds. But so yeah, just a little tip out there. So if you're looking at getting into truck camping, pay attention to payload, look at the Ford F-150. Again, price-wise and payload-wise, you're probably better off just getting an F-150. And like I said, they sell work trucks, so they're just basic. They don't have all the glitz and glamour inside, so they literally stripped everything out, and you just get a basic truck. So then a lot less things to break down, a lot easier to work on, and then that saves a lot more weight, so you can put the weight back into it instead of having all the technology stuff in it. So yeah, just a heads up out there, if you guys are out there in a truck camper and you're using a different truck, let me know in the comments below what you're using and how close to payload you are. On the newer trucks, we got a 2019 Ford F-150, and it's a 2,200 pound payload. So it's been working fantastic with our camper. Our camper's, I think, 800 pounds, and then we ripped almost everything out of it. So there's really not much in it. But again, it's an older camper. It's a 95. So they don't have a lot of stuff in it back then. These newer campers have way more stuff in it. So it's going to make it even heavier. So unless you're going to specially make your camper really light and not want to bring a lot of stuff with it, yeah, check out the Ford F-150. I'm not brand loyal by any means, but that's the only one I've really noticed lately that has that type of payload capacity. So anyways, yeah, let me know in your comments below what you're driving and if it's holding up to the weight and what your payload is. Actually, I'd be interested to know, because at some point we'll have to get a new truck too. So I don't know what the newer models are riding with payload or anything, but yeah, let me know, and we'll see you guys out there. Bye.